AM 1670, Dewberry Jam Community Radio, Valencia, El Dorado, Northern Hills, San Antonio, Texas. Neighborhood radio for the masses.
AM 1670, Valencia, El Dorado, Northern Hills. In the studio with Bridget London. Bridget, say hi to them.
Hey, y'all. How's everybody doing out there this fine Wednesday evening?
I'm doing fine. I don't know about you. It's Ameripolitan Live
That's
tonight.
Right.
That's right.
Ameripolitan Live, San Antonio. Welcome, everybody, to the first official show featuring all Ameripolitan music as we now know it. We're going to be talking with my good friend, Mr. Dale Watson, who's actually in Chicago right now getting ready to do a show. But we're going to be talking with him about his brand new album, El Rancho Azul, plus about what Ameripolitan music is. And then later in the show, we've got outlaw country legend Billy Don Burns.
That's right. I loved hanging out with him out there in that concert y'all did out there. That was fun, man.
Marble Falls.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, maybe we should we play a little, Dale? How about what kind of started this whole thing? We ought to give a big thank you to Mr. Blake Shelton because he actually set forth a whole new movement. And what do you think, Dew?
Yeah, he kicked it in high gear, didn't he?
He sure did.
It's almost like back to the Dixie Chicks again, you know?
Well, we appreciate him being such a jack because we now have this great movement happening. Some of us have been, Dew. I know Dew's one of them, and so many of you out there listening right now, we've been kind of fighting the good fight for a long time. And when Dale came forth with Ameripolitan, we all kind of were like, yes, finally we've got something that can actually change the industry. So we have Dale's response to Mr. Shelton.
Yeah, here we go. Well, let me say one more thing here.
You bet.
Okay, this is Ameripolitan San Antonio. Now, what if this spreads to Austin or to Houston? And what if we have a whole bunch of radio shows like this?
Well, Dew, actually, there's a few in the works. We'll tell you about it later.
Okay. Dale Watson, Old Fart.
Well, I'd rather be an old fart than a new country turd. Yeah, I know I ain't bug smart, but from what I heard, I'm just an old jackass, loving old country sound. A lot of us old farts still hanging around. That's right.
All right, that was Old Fart. You know, only Dale can say, I'd rather be an old fart than a new country turd and still sound so cool. Right, Dew?
I mean, we're kind of running under the radar here, so I guess we can say those cuss words if they can on cable, right?
I don't know. I got in trouble when I played Mandy's song, remember?
Yeah, but that was back when I gave a dadgone.
We're going to play a little Mandy Marie Luke on later in the show, but right now we're going to feature a little bit more since we're going to be talking with Dale shortly. Dale also has two new records out, not just El Rancho Azul, but also Delvis.
Yeah, well, you know, I thought that was pretty cool, you know, Delvis. I could picture him with like horns on him. So.
He's got some really great tracks on there. I'm sure.
Listen, I've been through his stuff. I mean, you know, I'm just wondering how long he's been playing because I saw stuff on Amazon like goes back, I don't know how long, you know.
Well, he's been at it since he was a kid, really. Grew up, his dad was a great country singer, actually made records and had a single called Poor Baby. Dale's actually got a tattoo of that. And so it comes a long line, and his brother played music, and so he's been a huge Elvis fan.
Oh, wait a minute. Is he kin to Doc Watson? Buddy?
No kin.
Ah.
No kin.
Well, what a combination that would be, would it?
That would be cool.
Introduce the song, Bridget.
All right, let's see. We've got a couple of tracks here from Delvis. We're going to play both Undo the Wrong and I Love Too Much.
Oh, it hasn't happened yet. One day you'll know regret. 'Cause you can't undo the wrong you done me. I bet you forgive you. Once you're out of my head, drive you right out of my heart. Well, the doctor said, my son, you gotta pay this back. If she don't love you like you love her, you'll have a broken heart attack. Last son running for my life. He said, I love too much. Yeah, I love too much.
Howdy, y'all. That was Mr. Dale Watson from his Delvis album. This is Bridget London, and you're listening to Ameripolitan Live San Antonio. I'm here at the luxurious Dewberry Jam Community Radio Studios, and actually, this is probably one of the best studios I've been in for radio stations or anywhere. And actually, when I do my radio show, I send it in. This is my first time live here, so I'm having a ball with Dew and Selena. They're having a good old time, and we're having a lot of fun in the chat room, folks. Want to remind those of you listening, just come on in and say hi, because that way when Dale comes on, if you got a question about Ameripolitan music or something you want to ask him, and also Billy Don Burns will be on later in the show, you can ask him. And plus, we're just having fun. We've got a lot of folks with some dirty names in the chat room, too, by the way, just saying.
That's right.
Sorry, Dew gave me some maker's mark, so I'm having quite a good time already. But we're excited that we're going to have Dale on talking about Ameripolitan music and everything that it stands for. This is really now the time for roots music to make its presence known in a new way. This can actually reshape the entire industry. And Americana music did that, actually. And this is going to be different in a different way. Americana, as Dale puts it, is music with a rock influence, roots music with a rock influence. It may be country-ish, but Ameripolitan is for that music that Blake Shelton would call your grandpa's country music. So, and I am nobody's grandpa. I'm just saying, Dew.
I have grandchildren. Does that make me a grandpa?
Hey, I love grandparents.
There we go.
There's nothing, I think that's cool, but I'm just saying it's for everybody, and there's so many people that are so hungry for this music to find its way to the airways, and those of us who do our kind of renegade radio programs and Dew Station and all the other folks, you know, we're doing everything we can, but wouldn't it be great if you went into a grocery store and you didn't have to listen to Carrie Underwood? I'm just saying. So.
Well, yeah. It used to be Muzak, though, if you think about it.
That's true, but to me, it's all the same.
This is AM 1670. We got another one coming up by Dale Watson, and I think he might have tried to call in there. Dale, if you can hear me, call back. This is Hillbilly Casino with Dale Watson.
And that's the night his lights went out on Broadway. His ego wrote a check he couldn't cash.
He's a legend in his mind, and he spends all his time killing country music, talking trash.
Yeah, that's the night his lights went out on Broadway.
Hello?
AM 1670, you are on the air.
Is that Mr. Dale Watson, I hear?
That is me. How y'all doing?
Hey, Dale, sorry about the major malfunction there. You know, I'm still getting used to this stuff, if you know what I mean.
Right. We got our growing pains.
That's right. How's it going up there? You braved the snow, and you're in Chicago tonight, right?
Chicago tonight, yeah. You know, the forecasters make everything sound like gloom and doom, and it's just a beautiful night here. No snow, and streets are clear, and
Well,
so
all
hopefully
right.
we'll get some people out.
Great. I hope so too. Well, thanks so much for being on the debut of Ameripolitan Live. We're all really excited here about Ameripolitan music, and we're going to feature some songs and talk about your new record that you have out. But before we do that, a lot of folks, if we can just talk a little bit about how did this all start with Ameripolitan music?
Well, I had this idea years and years ago whenever, my frustration, obviously, from, like in the early 90s, I wrote songs about it, starting with Nashville Rash, but I just really thought that when people asked me, I was getting a haircut somewhere in, Detroit, Michigan or something, they asked me what kind of music I do, and I knew if I said I did country music, it would make them think of, the modern country music, and that would be misleading to them and to whoever likes that genre and whoever, and to me. And so I just wanted to I've been trying to think of a word that would, if you said it, it didn't mean anything. It didn't bring any thought process, because if I called it old country, then they would just dismiss it as a retro thing with no importance. You call it real country, they still refer to the root word of country, and which is today what Kenny Chesney. So, that type of thing.
Right.
Which is fine. But the fact that what happened re-inspired it was with the Blake Shelton comments. It really made it obvious to everybody, not just me, if this is going to survive, because they obviously, with his comments, he was just saying what the industry believes, and that our music really doesn't have any purpose or relevance, and that the fans of it don't matter either. So it was a perfect time to cut the roots off that they have, but they don't deserve, and replant them. And them roots are Ameripolitan.
Absolutely. And I think, too, what's so great about what happened, I'm actually kind of grateful to Blake Shelton, because, like you were saying, everybody in the industry knew, and we knew, but a lot of the general public didn't. I think that they just really realized, like you were saying at that point, like, wow, this is actually how they really feel. Things are not going to change. And then with you starting Ameripolitan Music, it's just the perfect time, and we're all, I mean, I'm over the moon about it, obviously, you can tell.
I think we all have a home now, you know, and the beautiful thing about having this genre for us, and it's not a me thing. Matter of fact, when we do the Ameripolitan Awards, you know, I've disqualified myself. I don't want to, you know, this stuff is way too important for that type of thing. It really is as a home for honky tonk and outlaw and Cajun and hillbilly and rockabilly, western swing. It's a place where the music will be recognized that never was before, just because they always thought it was old and not important. And there's so many great new bands and new music, and you know, it's relevant. Just because it's got so much roots in it doesn't mean it's not important. And now we can do what we want to do, and it can grow naturally, and we don't care what they do over at country music because we're not associated with it. And so Taylor Swift can, you know, have a million number ones. It just doesn't matter to us.
Man, oh, this is so great. We're so excited about that. And now you mentioned the Ameripolitan Awards. Do you want to share with us, like, your thoughts about what's happening with that? I know that this is all just, you know, growing organically and just getting started, but can you kind of just share with us what your thoughts are about doing the awards?
Yeah, I set a date, February 18th, 2014, and for it to be in Austin. And we were talking to a couple of different venues about it. I got to do a lot of security stuff. I got to do a secure venue as far as monetarily reserve it, and it's going to be the categories of Ameripolitan Awards are like I said, you know, with everything from the outlaw, like you do with the outlaw sampler, which is fantastic. I love that part of Ameripolitan. Outlaw, hillbilly, rockabilly, western swing, you know, honky tonk, and have band in each category, male vocalists in each category, female vocalists in each category, and venue of the year.
All right.
You know, so there's a lot of things we're going to do it, and we're going to do it and just celebrate our music and our genre. And have I just talked to Jason D. Williams, who if anybody's not familiar with him, the guy his roots are firm and you know, comes from the Jerry Lee Lewis school. I mean, he is like continuing that music on, and that's exactly what we're talking about with Ameripolitan. You're able to hear the roots, not just somebody tell you what. That's one of the things that irks me so much is so many bands that come out of Nashville. They say, "Oh, they're big Merle Haggard, George Jones, Johnny Cash bands," and then they sound like Backstreet Boys. You know? It just doesn't ring true. You know, it's not that you have to imitate anybody or keep doing what they did, but truly an influence. A good example is Ray Price. His biggest influence was Hank Williams, and early on he sounded a little bit like Hank, but he grew and his roots grew, and he got had his own style. So just because you got roots don't mean you have to emulate, but you're able to hear it.
Right.
You hear Hank Williams and Ray Price music.
Hey, Dale, can I ask you a question, too?
Yeah.
And we're going to try to get some people in the chat room to ask some questions for you. But
right.
how long have you been doing this, man? I mean, give us some kind of idea.
You know, I got lucky.
Listen.
You know, I grew up in a family. My dad was a picker. My brothers, we had a band. The very first band I was ever in was the Classic Country Band. We got it from, there used to be a thing on PBS in Houston, Texas. I think it's KLRU or one of the PBS channel was called the Classic Country Hour, and they would show pet milk shows and Martha White Flower and just that type of show, and it was called the Classic Country Hour. So that's when we started our band. I had older brothers. We started the Classic Country Band and did stuff like that. So it's always been around, and my dad's been a picker. So I've been doing it now for 32 years.
Yeah, I was on Amazon.com shopping for your material, man, and it went on and on and on. And I was wondering, how far back it went. So that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, you've got how many albums, Dale? You've got 20-some albums out now, right?
How many?
How many do you have? Do you know how many? I think we talked about this before. You said 26, wasn't it, albums?
Well, 26 if you count the European releases that aren't available in the States. But yeah, about 26.
Okay, cool. We've got Woody in the chat room. He wants to tell you did an awesome show at Knuckleheads in Kansas City. Was that last night?
Woody Atkins, he's got he's a strong voice for us. And not I was going to say in the Kansas City and Missouri area, but he's international as well. He's got listeners all over Australia, and just like y'all do, Australia
cool.
and England but Woody, he braved the even though the governor or mayor of Kansas City told people, "Do not go outside, you'll die." he drove all the way from Columbia to be there at Kansas City last night. It was a small crowd, but it was a fun crowd.
I'd love to go see you, man. I'll tell you what, you're a revelation to me. Hey, listen, let me ask you kind of a self-serving question here. Are you going to have a radio station category for that?
You know what? It's got to be. I mean, of course, it has to be. Because what's going to be? That's the beauty of this genre. It's got to be where people can actually, like it used to be, call up and request.
Right.
You know how that used to be.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is now on so many of the internet and radio programs like this one. People call up and can actually request something. And instead of somebody go, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's not on the playlist."
Right.
Yeah.
And not have the same 10 songs on the playlist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, well, let's talk a little bit about El Rancho Azul too, Dale. I know you got a show tonight, so I don't know how much time you got, but your new record, we were played a couple tracks from Dalevis too, which I just love. It was great, and people can buy that on your website, right? They want to know. They've been hearing it.
Yeah,
so.
Dalevis is available on the website. It's more of a vanity project for me because I'll go to Sun Studios and record the songs that I wrote that are inspired by Elvis stuff. Sun Studios was just everything that came out of there was a big influence on me. From Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins to Elvis.
I toured that place. That place is awesome, man.
Yeah, I go there quite a bit, and the people that run it are dear friends, and yes, it's kind of like my home studio now. Well, I like to go and feel at home there.
Poor you.
Right. I realize it might be a little bragging there. But
Hey,
it really is.
I would.
They treat
Believe
me
me.
good over there.
Believe me, I would fit that into conversation if I could, if that were me. Let me
Right.
By the way, I was at Sun Studios again yesterday.
I recorded at Sun Studios, by the way. Did I mention I recorded at Sun Studios, by the way?
That's right. Did you mention? And now, record El Rancho Azul. Was
at
that
Willie's place?
At Willie's, that's right.
Yeah,
I knew that. Yeah. And how's it? We've
That's
got
another
this
place
new.
that's really comfortable, and they treat you so good, and it's not a lot of studios are clock watchers, but not these folks.
Right. Good-hearted folks and good vibes in there. Great drum sound. Everything's great. Love it and love the album. You've really been making. I'm laughing because all these other charts and all these other genres are like scoping out El Rancho Azul now, which is kind of. I find this very. Have you noticed that? Like you're on Americana and and the country, and isn't that cool? And it's like.
Well, the thing is, Americana is really the closest thing to a home that our music has, but it still really is not. I don't expect it to go any further than where it's at on the Americana chart, just for the simple reason that when you're up against people like Neil Young,
right, Bonnie Raitt,
and Robert Plant and Bonnie Raitt. Yeah, I mean, it's just not going to happen. It's it's a total different type of focus. And I'm not knocking it either. I wish all of them more success. I love that Americana's out there,
right,
because it's music. It's a music genre with prominent rock and folk influence.
right,
Where that's not what Ameripolitan is. Americana is prominent folk and rock influence. Ameripolitan is prominent roots influence, and it really does start. If anybody wonders how to separate Americana from Ameripolitan, is to find if their roots go to Woody Guthrie or if their roots go to Jimmy Rogers. There's a big difference.
Absolutely.
And to go to Woody Guthrie, which from Woody Guthrie came Bob Dylan, came whoever else you want to put in there, Steve Earle.
Mm-hmm.
That's Americana. And if their roots go to Jimmy Rogers, then that's Ameripolitan.
Well, I think this is so exciting because now when you say it, you know what you're going to get. And I love Americana. I play Americana on the radio show that I do, and
Absolutely.
I have a lot of songs that could even probably be considered Americana, I guess. But my heart is in Ameripolitan, and love that. And I love that if you say this now, people are going to know what you're going to get. Like you said, now even with Americana, you don't know if they're talking about Norah Jones or Daryl Watson. I mean,
right.
There's a big,
exactly.
So that's why this is exciting. I've got somebody who's got a question for you, Dale, in the chat room. Buck Elsis, I hope I said his name right. He wants to know if you're ever going to release some tracks that you cut with Reverend Frapp and the Atomic Outlaws. Do you know what he's talking about?
Sounds interesting.
It's funny is I don't even know if, and I don't want to embarrass him because I feel like I should know this, but I've done so many recordings and I don't remember that. I'm ashamed of myself. I apologize, Buck.
Hey, it sounds like a pitch to me.
Of it and I'll figure it out.
He's pitching you, man. He's pitching you. That's what that is.
Yeah. Go ahead and send me an MP3 to my Facebook, and especially if you got a recording of it. It sounds like a fun. I wish I did remember it. I'd love with a name like that. It sounded like it would have been a fun session.
That's hilarious. Hey, Dale, do you have to go, or if we play a song, can you come back with us? Do you want us to wait to play
Absolutely.
and talk? Wonderful.
Hey, Dale, let's try this.
All right.
All right.
All right. Wait, just one sec. Can you talk a little bit about Where Do You Want It?
You want to do that right now? Or
yeah, we're going to play this right now.
Oh, okay. Where Do You Want It? Obviously inspired by the Billy Joe Shaver incident. And I wrote it on stage at Jenny's Little Longhorn. We happened to be playing there the day after, I think. And so I just was going by what the TVs and the newspapers and all that said. And then the next day I thought, well, I better ask Billy if I should even be doing this song. So I called him up. And I said, Billy, I wrote this song. He said, that's good. And I said, it's called Where Do You Want It? He says, oh, that's bad. I said, well, look, I won't even do the song anymore. I'll just throw it away. He says, no, you keep doing that song. Songs are like children. He said, you just got an ugly youngin' right there. So I said, you keep doing the song. Don't worry about it. And unfortunately, it ended up going into the trial and giving him a little bit of grief. But he had to explain to it, look, I don't control what he's writing. I didn't tell him nothing. He's writing what the papers wrote, about. So he had to depend me on that, and he's a good sport about it, though. He gives me the finger every time he sees me because of that song. But what's funny, if everybody knows Billy Joe Shaver his right hand don't have that many fingers.
Right.
So I said, Billy, it doesn't mean the same when you give me the finger. You don't got no middle finger.
No, he's giving you the rock and roll sign, man. Rock on.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Pretty much right.
Oh, this is our guest here on the first Ameripolitan Live San Antonio show, and only Dale Watson with Where Do You Want It? And hopefully we'll be back with Dale.
Billy's reputation is the kind of guy that wouldn't hurt a fly, but with provocation, well, hit on Billy's wilder side. Billy had the nerve, oh yeah, that old boy jumped right on it. Billy asked him, where do you want it? Where do you want it? On the way where it feels the pain, 'cause I'm gonna give it my best day.
Yeehaw! Where do you want it? That was Dale Watson. God, I love that. Dale, are you still with us?
Oh yeah, I'm still here.
All right, all right.
You mean it actually worked? Okay, we got this.
We're doing a whole new live setup here, which is actually quite fun. Maker's Mark adds a nice ambiance as well, and you know, Dale, we're real excited. Like we've been saying all night.
Well, let me break out my Maker's Mark. Hold on.
Well, all right, go get some.
Let me just hold on. I got a bottle right
The girl
here.
at the liquor store didn't know it was gluten free, and I didn't either. So
I'm gluten free. He says, "What do you want?" I said, "Maker's Mark," but I usually can't afford to buy it. So, but I'm definitely sampling.
you wait till she tears into my beef jerky, man.
That's right. Do makes homemade beef jerky.
Got my Lone
here.
Star Chaser right here. We're doing good.
All right. Cheers, Dale. God bless you. Cheers to the new Ameripolitan Live. Clink, clink.
Clink, clink. Indeed. Thank you all for championing this stuff. You know, we're all going to do it together. We're going to make a difference.
Hell yeah, this is just wonderful. And now, so Dale, just kind of fill in. We've got a couple questions from the chat room. I know you've got a lot of touring, as always. You're on the road nonstop. Indy, our good friend in Australia, who, even though we've never met him in person, we love him dearly. He's such a champion for real music and loves real music. He wants to know if you've got any plans to come to Australia. He really wants to see you soon.
Actually, it looks like we're going to be at, they're talking to us right now about being the, they call it, I think it's the Gimpy Munster. Gimpy Muster. I think it's in August.
Okay.
So I think we're going out there, I can't remember the date. I think it might be August 12th or something like that. Yeah, it's the Gimpy Muster. I think that's what it was called. Indy, I think you'd probably be able to correct me on that. You know what it is. But we got plans to go out there.
Yeah, Indy,
we're not going to fly Tiger Airways.
That's right.
Indy was driving his truck and on the chat line, driving his truck across the whatever that barren place is over there.
That's probably the only place you can drive a truck and be on a chat line and text and not have to worry about hitting nothing but a kangaroo maybe out in the middle, especially if he's driving in the middle of Alice Springs.
I have no idea.
Road out there.
He has to time it right so he can listen in. You know?
That's so cool. Very cool. So, Dale, what else have you got going on this year? Obviously, this Ameripolitan thing is a huge deal, and you're getting all kinds of folks involved in it. But what else have you got going on?
Well, that's going to be a major focus of mine. A lot of my stuff's maybe going to take a back seat, but with the Rancho Azul coming out and Elvis out, I got a 45 that's coming out. It's just going to be available at the shows and probably iTunes. It's called FU. Mm-hmm. It's IF. Capital YOU. U, and it's got six songs on it. It's a EP type of thing, 3 songs each side. All songs about goodbye. And then of course we got the Old Fart 45 that came out in England, and is on iTunes now. That's kind of just happenstanced, you know.
That's
great. It's got Runaway on the flip side of that. So we got a lot of stuff going on and stuff moving on, but we're just touring and we're doing Vegas with Tiger Army, which is a kind of a rockabilly, psychobilly band. And I'm more championing people to, I got Johnny Knoxville as being one of the presenters on Ameripolitan Awards, and I'll be working more on that too, trying to get more people who believe in the genre to take part in that award show.
So for those listening that really want to get on board, and either as a listener or an artist, should we send them maybe to the Facebook page and they can send a message on there maybe if they want to help, or even those who maybe want to donate to the cause? Obviously this is going to cost a lot of money to do this award show. Should they just contact the Facebook page for Ameripolitan Music, Dale?
I think that's probably the best way right now, and we're going to I'm such a novice at the Facebook thing, but AmeripolitanAwards.com is another place they can keep track of what's going on with the award show. But the Facebook page is probably the best place to send me a message, and there's a group called the Ameripolitan Alliance, which are like-minded friends, and it's international. That's the beauty about this genre. Mm-hmm. It's not just America. Because touring in Europe, there's great bands all over Europe, England, Australia, Croatia, that we had support bands that were just fantastic, you know, and they carry on, you know, roots music. So there's going to be some people from that, I'm sure, that will be nominated, if not win, some of the categories.
Very cool. That's exciting.
So this is the reason I'm bringing it up for the Facebook thing is I'm going to be getting them. If I'm not going to answer the message, then one of the Ameripolitan Alliance folks will.
Now, we've got Diane from Ohio and Brandy Lee Dixon from Kentucky wanting to know if you've got any plans for touring around there, or are you headed back to Texas?
We go back to Texas because we got to play Chicken Food Bingo on Sunday, but we go actually play Nocona, Texas, Saturday night.
Okay.
But you know, the thing is, that's you know, I've been on a 35-year tour, so
right.
we come home for about a couple of days and then head back out again. So we head back again to the west toward Vegas to do that Tiger Army show. So we're seldom anywhere for more than a minute. You know, we try to stay home enough to get the mail and take out the trash, but then we get back on the road.
Well, and you mentioned earlier about Old Fart. We played that at the start of the show. We thought that was a great song to start the Ameripolitan show with, obviously. And now, I actually went to Amazon and I couldn't buy it on there. Can you download it now in America, or do we need to wait a little bit?
Yeah, you can get it on iTunes.
iTunes. Okay, great.
Okay. I haven't thought about Amazon. I don't know if I guess that's a route I need to investigate. But again, a lot of the stuff is just going to fund what I do with the Ameripolitan Awards. I'm having the award made, you know, that we hand out. So I'm finding there's a lot of expenses that you just wouldn't even think about.
Right.
But I don't care. A friend of mine told me, my road manager, he says, "Well, Dale, why don't you just you know, kind of take it slow and say it's going to be sometime in 2014?" I said, because you set a date and then you got to keep your word, and so that's what we're going to do. It's going to be a fun night for our music.
That's right. That's right. Well, we'll all be there for sure, and I'm so excited about it. And I also, we want to play, first of all, we want to tell you to have a great show in Chicago tonight. And is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners about Ameripolitan, or anything else you just want to say, Dale, before you go? I'm just very, very honored y'all took up the flag and are doing this show, you know, once a month, and it's so important, and it's great to be able to, I think, to have a voice for all of us and a home for all of us. It sure does feel good when we all band together like this. You know, from rockabilly, hillbilly, outlaw, honky tonk, western swing, feels good to have a home. So thanks for giving us a voice there at Ameripolitan Hour.
Dale, I'd like to say thank you for being on our air tonight, and also Bridget deserves a lot of credit for this because she kicked me in the butt.
Quite a bit.
And
quite a bit. She's helped me with that outlaw sampler. You know, that makes a big difference. Ameripolitan outlaw sampler. That's just one of many to come, and she put it together so well with some great acts that I think people ought to be aware of. You know, and now they are.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to talk her into doing a live thing here a little bit later here. So.
And you got it. And Bridget, I seen that a song that me and you recorded on your CD, "Make 'Em Believe," is on the playlist.
That's tonight. Right. We thought it'd be a good night to play that.
I'm so glad you're playing that because I love your version of that. And but send it out to my friend Kitty Liang. She's a truck driver out there. I think she's in Joplin, Missouri tonight, and she's headed into Cleveland, Texas, and she's listening to hear that song.
We most certainly will. We'll play it after. We're going to play one more track from your new record. We're going to go out on that. And I just want to say I'm just so thrilled because that you're spearheading this. I can't think of anybody better than you to do it, Dale, because you've always stood for, you've never, ever, ever played the game. You've always stood for real music, and we're all behind you. We're so excited. We're going to kick some ass, is what I say. So.
I guess we're the flagship. We're the flagship station at this point, isn't it? Thank you, Dale.
That's right. This is the first station to do, and I want to say I'm so grateful to Du and Selena for everything that they do to help, not just Ameripolitan now, but independent artists, and to do the very first Ameripolitan live show. And thanks so much for being with us, Dale. We love you. You know.
Love you back, Du and Selena. Thank you very much for being part of that too.
Thank you, Dale. Awesome. Appreciate it.
I love y'all. Keep on keeping on.
Here is Dale Watson with a track from his brand new album, El Rancho Azul, Give Me More Kisses. So I just want to tell everybody, lots of great tracks on El Rancho Azul. And, of course, Dale This is available at dalewatson.com. And those of you who are listening to this and saying, yes, we have an answer for Ameripolitan music, go to the Facebook page for Ameripolitan Music. Just search that, and you'll be all right. What do you think, Du? Are we?
It's listener oriented. This is for the fans, and that's what's beautiful about it. Is, I mean, just like you, Bridget, I'm a fan of of all these people that are in this genre. From Whitey Morgan's to yourself, and I think J.P. Harris. I mean, people I've heard on the sampler. There's a lot of. I think we're all, even the artists, are fans of each other. So it's a beautiful thing. It's the way country music used to be, and so we took the roots off of what they call country, and we replanted it right here in Ameripolitan. So true.
Well said.
Hey y'all, this is Sonny Lee. I want to tell you about the best thing coming out of San Antonio, Texas. And I'm not talking music, baby. I'm talking Texas 46 brand Christmas beef jerky. My buddy Billy down there, he's been working on his recipe for years and started sending it out every year to friends and family, but the taste caught on. Man, I tell you what, it's the best tasting, most juiciest, tender beef jerky I've ever had the pleasure of eating. And here at Sonny Lee's Hillbilly Deluxe Country Mix-Up, we swear by it. Right, Snake?
Man, I tell you what, it's so tasty and tender, it's hard to say that.
Oh, I'm telling you.
It's hard to get it out of your mouth, man. It's the best stuff I've ever tasted, folks, and I ain't lying.
All right, everybody, so head on over to www.am1670, that's 1670.org/jerky, and you'll find it right there, Texas 46 brand Christmas beef jerky. Everybody, you got to try this stuff. Tell them Sonny sent you.